Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to begin this brief presentation by expressing my sincere gratitude to the International Bar Association's Human Rights Institute and the International Commission of Jurists for inviting me to participate in this press conference. I am honored to have the opportunity to share some thoughts on how to promote the rule of law and the independence of the judiciary and the legal profession. Ladies and gentlemen, the importance of judicial independence is expressed in Article 10 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and Article 14 of International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. It's also emphasized in many regional instruments, such as Article 6 of the European Convention on Human Rights, Article 8 of the American Convention on Human Rights, and Article 7 of the African Chart on Human and People's Rights. The requirements for an independent judiciary are also detailed in other international and regional documents, such as the Basic Principles on the Independence of the Judiciary, endorsed by the United Nations General Assembly in 1985, and the Bangalore Principles of Judicial Conduct, adopted in The Hague in 2002. Let me take this opportunity to highlight the great contribution made by the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association and the legal profession of the Commonwealth represented by the Commonwealth Magistrates and Judges Association, the Commonwealth Lawyers Association, and the Commonwealth Legal Education Association to the adoption of the Latimer House Guidelines for the Commonwealth on Parliamentary Supremacy and Judicial Independence, and the endorsement of the Commonwealth Principles on the Accountability of and the relationship between the three branches of government. The Latimer House Principles represent a good example of a document that can be implemented to strengthen the fundamental principle of separation of powers in the member states of the Commonwealth. All states encounter challenges when it comes to upholding the rule of law and guaranteeing the independence of the judiciary. But states which have gone through crisis are confronted with further difficulties when it comes to grasping the fundamental concepts and values that form the foundation of democracy. Particularly in times of crisis, states should pay the utmost vigilance to ensure the maintenance of a number of principles enshrined in international instruments and upheld by my mandate, such as the separation of powers, the effective administration of justice, the right to a fair trial by independent and impartial tribunal, the security of tenure for judges, and the protection of judges and legal professionals from threats, pressure, or interference. In this sense, I commend the Commonwealth for the adoption in March 2013 of the Commonwealth Charter, which is aimed at promoting the objectives of democracy and human rights, good governance, and progress through technical assistance, capacity building, and practical cooperation in promoting development of member states. Ladies and gentlemen, it's important to bear in mind that all the actors of the judicial system have a significant weight of responsibility and importance in enforcing the rule of law and in vouching that all activities of the judiciary are developed with transparency, property, and justice. Like judges, prosecutors and lawyers are also vital agents of the administration and delivery of justice, and as such, should respect and protect human dignity and human rights, thus contributing to ensuring the smooth functioning of the justice system. I would like to further stress that while lawyers are not expected to be impartial in the same way as judges, they must be as free from external pressures and interferences as judges are. When guarantees are not in place to enable lawyers to discharge their duties in an independent manner, the door is open to all sorts of pressure and interference, whether from private or public actors, who seek to have an impact on or control over judicial proceedings. Thus, if the rule of law and the justice system are to truly function, it's paramount to develop the independence of lawyers. It's relevant to underscore, in this context, that lawyers, like all other citizens, are entitled to freedom of expression and association. In particular, they have the right to take part in public discussions concerning the law, the administration of justice, and the protection and promotion of human rights without suffering professional restrictions. Through my mandate, I have acknowledged or in some cases of recurrent threats and interferences in the work of legal professionals. Besides threats and undue pressure, lawyers are frequently identified with their clients or their clients' causes as a result of discharging their functions. In order to avoid these practices and guarantee that legal professionals are able to perform their professional functions without intimidation, hindrance, harassment, or improper interference, authorities must place the independence of lawyers and bar associations at the center of the constitutional and legal goals. In this regard, I call that due respect be ensured to the incorporation of the provisions of the United Nations Basic Principles on the Rule of Lawyers in domestic legislation and in practice. I would like to express my serious concerns about acts of reprisals against judges, prosecutors, and lawyers, and other actors of the judicial systems who cooperate or seek to cooperate with United Nations and regional human rights mechanisms, including by implementing decisions taken by those mechanisms. Reprisals against judicial actors and legal professionals are a kind of attack to their institutional and functional independence. Reprisals must be investigated, prosecuted, and perpetrators punished as a means to guarantee the independence of judges and magistrates and the free exercise of the legal profession. Excellencies, let me conclude by asserting that while many challenges still lie ahead for the concretization of democracy, human rights, and the rule of law, we must all acknowledge that the independence of the judiciary and the free exercise of the legal profession are key elements for the achievement of these values. By understanding the role of the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary, and their respective weight of responsibility, I believe that efforts can be joined for the promotion and protection of human rights and for the continuous strengthening of democracy and the rule of law. Thank you for your attention.